You saw? Die.
Tonight, we are talking about the Clintons' deposition. Also, is Biden or was Biden's inauguration bogus? And why is Ben Shapiro and others drooling over Iran? We already know why. Warhawks. And is GITMO making a comeback? I've got the handy news and the GTFO report. Buckle up, hot dogs and tacos. I'm Scott. This is the OTPH Show. Now let's do the damn thing. All right, you like that intro? Yeah, you fucking do. Thank you for being here with me this evening. Now let's get back to this video I just showed you guys. Time to turn this down a little bit. So now, look at, you see old Slick Willie right there. Look at him, look at his lips. Yeah, look at Ivanka. He sees Ivanka and he's like, yeah, I think the Viagra's still working. Not too sure, but you know, with Hillary standing right next to me, I'm too afraid she might Lorraine it bob at me or something. That was a horrible impersonation of Bill Clinton, but let's get back to this video real quick. Look at Big Mike. Absolutely radiant with a forehead that looks like it breaks doors open. Oh, Katja. Yep, look at that. There's that look. I bet you she has given that man that look so many friggin' times in her life. Look at that. She's thinking to herself, she's like, yeah, well, I'm going to fuck the Domino's delivery boy then. All right, there. Slick Willie. We all know your real secret. Micro penis. Anyways.
You saw? You died.
Man, I'll tell you what, if guilty had a face, it would be Bill Clinton's. I don't know if you watch the deposition, but I did. I thought it was absolutely incredible to watch these people fall flat on their faces and deny everything like this.
You guys are doing that. I am done. You can hold me
really?
from now until the...
Yeah, I hold. You know what? I would have been like, yep, you're arrested. Yep, we're going to hold you in contempt. That's fine. That's completely, that's okay. That's completely fine. We're going to freeze all your assets too until we get to the bottom of this. So you absolutely have jack shit when you are in jail. Take her away.
cows come home. This is just typical behavior.
We will go off the record.
Typical behavior.
So I would like to understand how that...
how dare you? We had rules. Oh, yeah. Like when you acid wash your computers. Yeah, what about Anthony Weiner? Yeah, that's, what about his laptop that had like 675,000 emails on it that you acid washed, if you would, meaning you had it professionally scrubbed. Well, what does it matter? They're dead, right? That's what you said when you were Secretary of State and you attacked Benghazi for some reason or something. I don't remember verbatim what happened in Benghazi, but we lost 13 soldiers and a bunch of civilians died too as well. And all you could say is what does it matter now? They're dead. Well, what does it matter now? Now that you're in depth, I mean, let's let the fucking cat out of the bag. Let's let the laundry air out, huh? Well, actually, no, let's not do that. Billy Boy has been known to use cigars in weird places, so I don't want to smell any of the laundry that they have. None of it.
Permissible.
Before the hearing was...
It doesn't matter. We all are abiding by the same rules
That are being released
Look at her.
of the secretary as she is testifying from inside this room. Can you please advise me as to whether or not that's permissible and consistent with the rules, particularly given that we have asked for a public hearing? If there are photos that are being released of the secretary as she is testifying, can you please explain how that
I'm
can
done
occur?
with this. If you guys are doing that, I am done. You can hold me in contempt from now until the cows come home.
Yeah,
this is just typical behavior.
We will, bitch.
Oh, for heaven's
So I would
sake.
like to understand how that's permissible.
Before the hearing was...
It doesn't matter. We all are abiding by the same rules.
What rules?
Yeah,
So
well,
I would like to take a break at this
yeah,
moment. I'd like to have
I'm
a
done
conversation.
for now.
If you,
Go off the
I just
record.
don't
Go off the
understand. I don't understand how you are in a deposition and you're the one being questioned and you get to make the rules. That just kind of blows my mind a little bit. If anybody wants to leave a comment down below, let me know what you're thinking. I always want to know what you're thinking, but I just don't know where she gets off saying you're breaking the rules. Lady, you were involved with a blackmail operation. Your husband was involved with that. We as Americans should know. And you hid in plain sight and denied all of it completely. It's just absolutely incredible. All right, let's keep going.
Are abiding by the same rules.
I will take that down.
Yeah,
So
well,
I would like to take a break at this moment.
yeah,
I'd like to have
I'm
a
done
conversation.
for now.
Bobert, by the way, that was a representative of Colorado. She took a picture of Hillary while she was freaking out and then shared it. That's why she's all butthurt. It's like, who cares, lady? Like, you're not going to be honest anyways. You don't have any image to save. There's nothing to save. There's no face to save. With a face like yours, well, you might as well hide it in a pillow, but I'm sure Bill hasn't done that sometime.
Okay, so it could be a different Jeffrey Epstein.
I have, you're showing me an email from someone who I don't recall knowing about a fundraiser that wasn't for me, but was for Congresswoman Lowy. I have no information.
Okay.
I went to the fundraiser to support my friend Nia Lowy.
All right.
You're a fucking liar.
Photos
Sorry, I
are
had to
being
get that off my
released
chest.
of the secretary as she is testifying from inside this room. Can you please advise me as to whether or not that's permissible and consistent with the rules, particularly given that we have asked for a public hearing? If there are photos that are being released of the secretary as she is testifying, can you please explain how that
I'm
can
done
occur?
with this. If you guys are doing that, I am done. You can hold me in contempt from now until the cows come home. This is just typical behavior.
We will go off the record.
Oh, for heaven's
So I would like
sake.
to understand how that's permissible.
Before the hearing was.
It doesn't
Excuse
matter.
me.
We all are abiding by the same rules.
There she
I
is,
think
losing
that's
it again.
Yeah, well,
Shut up. No, you won't. Everybody already has it. The internet's forever. Once you put it on the internet, it's there. It's already, people are watching and licking their chops for this deposition. There's no way.
Photos of your husband in a hot tub laying on a beach and getting massaged by other women, and you knew that Jeffrey Epstein was involved in some of these trips and these things. Did it concern you at all?
I'm here not to offer my opinions.
Listen, she just answered the question. We all know. We all know you're getting dicked by the pool boy. Or she might be batting for the other team. I mean, with a haircut and a jawline like that, ugh. You know she breaks watermelons with her thighs. So you know it. You know it. She has sacrificed many a children to Moloch. Allegedly has sacrificed many a children to Moloch. Let's go. Leave a comment. Let's go.
I'm here to answer specific questions to the best of my
When
ability.
you saw your husband in these photos with a young woman being massaged, what went through your mind?
I am not going to
Look at
speculate.
the
You
rage.
didn't have any feelings
Oh
about
man,
young women
just beautiful. I
massaging
love
your
it.
husband.
I am not going to offer opinions or speculation about anything
Well,
that I have no context
really,
for
in all
and
honesty,
was not
okay.
there.
Well, if it was during his presidency, well, we already know what he does during his presidency, but if it was during his presidency, then you should answer for it. If it was after his presidency, then I don't really see where the relevance is too much when it comes to that kind of stuff. But I want to know why during your presidency, okay, and then I don't know the in-betweens relationship. Obviously they were all working together to conspire against the greatest president in my lifetime, Donald J. Trump. But that's just my opinion. And now that the pendulum's swinging the other way, she doesn't want to answer any of the questions, which I think is absolute bullshit. But why were you? Why does this bother you? Does it bother you that your husband's getting rubbed down by somebody that could be potentially underage? Why can't you answer that question? Because it doesn't bother her. That's why. Because she doesn't want to answer, because everybody already knows the answer. Everybody already knows the answer. They both sold their soul in blood, allegedly, to the lizard people, and they have to eat children for it, allegedly. I'm just saying to you, it's speculation. But back to what she was saying.
After you learned that Jeffrey Epstein was convicted of sex crimes with kids, did any of these photos of your husband with women being massaged on the beach, did it concern you?
I have no context for even answering that question. And
I
I think,
fucking hate this
you know,
shit.
obviously
That's why I hate
the
watching
innuendo,
congressional
all the
hearings,
rest
because
of
they
it.
just gaslight
I'm
the
asking
fuck
exactly
out of
my
you.
question. I'm not putting any leading statements into it or adjectives. Did you do anything to determine what was happening in those images or on those trips that you, once you saw these photos, once you realized Jeffrey Epstein was a convicted sex offender?
It would have been hilarious if she blew up it, because that's Nancy Mace asking her questions. It would have been hilarious if she's like, listen, we tried going to therapy because of all of this, but Billy ended up fucking our therapist. So no, okay, I'm not upset. Actually, if anything, I'm numb, and I cut my inner thighs every night, Nancy. So why don't you mind your fucking business and let's get on to the next question. That would have been awesome.
Of children, did you do anything to determine what was happening on these trips with your husband?
I don't find any of your questions to be relevant to the investigation.
Well, it is relevant if a former
Well-
president was traveling around with young women.
Well, you'll have a
alone
chance.
with them.
You'll have a chance to talk to him tomorrow.
You said this morning you did not solicit funds from Jeffrey Epstein, correct?
You did.
That's absolutely correct.
Did anyone
You're a
solicit
liar.
funds from Jeffrey Epstein on your behalf?
Not that I'm aware of.
Did you ever invite Jeffrey Epstein or Ghislaine Maxwell to any of your
That's a lie. That's a lie. Here we go. Here's Billy Boy. Or here's
Clinton
somebody.
just remembered during his deposition. During questioning about flights related to the investigation, former President Bill Clinton casually mentioned someone who went with him on an early trip.
When you took these flights, you're saying a lot of them were on behalf of your foundation or your charitable work, correct?
Yes.
Who did you normally bring on these flights?
I brought people who work with me, especially people who would have to follow up on the fundraising.
Who
I
could it
think
be?
that I had my first trip for the man who's now the governor of Illinois, J.B. Pritzker, and his wife. They helped me get started.
Oh,
Of all the rooms to get a shot
Oh, turkey neck Pritzker. All right, let's figure this what he has to say, and then I'll put my 2 cents in. Sorry.
out in, an Epstein hearing is not one of them. JB is now sweating so much, FEMA's considering declaring Springfield a flood zone.
Please like, comment, and subscribe.
Yes, if you see him anywhere, absolutely subscribe to his stuff. He is incredible. I love this guy. But yeah, he's 100% true. JB Pritzker comes from a wealthy family, and his brother was tied to Epstein. I believe they were pretty close, if you know what I mean. But hey, listen, a lot of it, until it's brought into the court of law, a lot of this is speculation and conjecture. Until we can prove that these people went to the island and they did the heinous things that are said in these emails, it's just really all speculation and conjecture. It could be their sick way of talking to each other. You know what I mean? But I'm not saying it's not real either. I'm definitely not undermining it or anything like that. I just believe in law and order, and we have to use the law in order to convict these individuals of these heinous crimes. And with people like fucking Hillary and Bill, I mean, getting a straight answer out of them is like trying to go get a straight answer out of a gay club. It's just not going to happen.
Jeffrey Epstein was suicidal?
Do you know?
Was he ever
She's asking for the
suicidal?
best of your
I
understanding.
don't know. I only know what the medical finding was.
Which was his neck was broken in a weird spot that shouldn't have been broken. Okay. Because injuries conducive of hanging, like in a jail, everything is all the injury and bruising and everything like that would be here, not here, not here. Okay. This and broken cartilage and bones and stuff like that in the neck right here is different than right here. If you hang yourself, it's not going to hang right here. It's going to come up underneath the neck. Okay. This is just anatomy 101. Okay. Stuff that you should have learned in biology class in fucking high school. Unfortunately, our education system has failed people. So it's easy to slide these kind of things past the people that are unknowing or not paying attention. But was he suicidal? I mean, a billionaire? What do you think a billionaire tycoon like himself who was on top of the world was suicidal? No, I don't think so at all. Leave a comment. Let me know what you're thinking.
I think maybe he finally got caught. And
Woo! Got caught doing what? Maybe he finally got caught.
I don't know. I've
do.
accepted it in my own mind. I don't know.
Look at that smile. If guilty had a face, if we could alone try and convict and sentence these guys from their evasive testimonies, then yeah, sure. But unfortunately, these weak ass testimonies, well, we all knew it was going to happen. You know, I was hoping that they would come to the light because they're both about to die anyways, or, you know, shed their skin and actually show their true form as skinwalkers. But nevertheless, that was a good one. But nevertheless, he knows.
Mr. President, what did you accept? That he killed himself or that he did not?
That he did, but I don't know.
Yes, sir. Thank you,
Neither
Mr.
do you.
President.
We don't. None of us know.
This is a letter from a book of letters, which
Yeah,
was
it's his 50th birthday.
Jeffrey Epstein's 50th birthday.
Questions?
Yep,
Mr. President, do you recognize
I
this
do.
letter? And for the record, does this appear to be your handwriting and
It
signature?
is.
And why did you write this letter?
Why did I? Because I was requested to contribute a nice letter.
Look at
for his
that
birthday.
fucking
Who
smile,
asked
dude.
you
That
to
shit-eating
write the
grin.
letter?
I don't remember.
Would Miss Maxwell have
I
asked
don't
you?
know. I think someone on my staff asked me.
Can you please read the letter for the record?
Yes. It's reassuring, isn't it, to have lasted so long across all the years of learning and knowing, adventures and errors, and still to have your childlike curiosity, the drive to make a difference, and the solace of friends.
Mr. President, were you ever in the position to owe Jeffrey Epstein a favor?
Yeah,
I didn't
probably.
consider that. I thought we had an understanding about the airplanes, that he would let me use the airplane to set up my AIDS programs around the world if I'd agreed
AIDS
to talk to him
programs,
for now
giving it
about economics and politics on
studying
every
it.
long leg. I kept my word and he seemed to honor
You're a
his.
lying sack of shit, dude. You, sir, Mr. President, are a lying sack of shit. Just like when they asked him, have you ever lied under oath? No, I did not have sexual relations to that woman. You lying fuck. Come to find out, you stuck a cigar up her hoo-ha and then huffed it down, you sick fucking bastard. Man. Some of these people were in secret societies, by the way, too. Some of these elitists that are in our government were in Skull and Bones, Freemasons, Knights Templar. But what I'm saying to you is that, if he was involved, we need to know. You were the president. So that means you were a plant. That means that we're occupied. I have my guesses about who we're occupied by, the little doily people there, the traveling doily people there that live out in the middle of nowhere. We're supposed to care about them. But nevertheless, he knows. They all know. It's like when Jim Carrey walked up on stage and accepted an award and everybody's just like, that's not that motherfucker, but we're going to pretend like he is. And they know. He knows. He knows exactly what happened. It's just like that guy that hung himself after he found out some stuff about the Clintons. He hung himself. He was found hung with a shotgun blast to his chest, and the shotgun was 20 feet away. How the hell does that happen? The world may never know. It's just like who really killed JFK? Who was behind it all, right? Do some research about who he was investigating about nuclear bombs at the time. Might tell you some things, but nevertheless, the deposition overall didn't really get us anywhere. I think Bill was overall more honest for the most part. I think his answers were straightforward and he didn't really beat around the bush too much. He was very careful about what he said, obviously, but he also, in the end of his deposition, he wanted to make it very clear that, you know, Trump was never mentioned or anything like that at all. So, you know, let's keep digging till we find out. But there's one thing that I want to get into. There's one thing that I want to mention before we get into one of my favorite parts of the show is that I don't want to hear any more about the Epstein files or any of that shit, because Congress, 357 members of Congress voted no to expose and investigate sexual misconduct that goes on in Congress. So I don't want to hear about the fucking Epstein files anymore. Let's investigate it and get it taken care of. Is sexual misconduct and all this horrible stuff bad? Yes, it's absolutely terrible, and it needs to be taken care of. I am all for it, but it doesn't need to be in everybody's face. The more attention we give to it, the bigger of a problem it becomes, and the more desensitized people. This should be something that we should be absolutely appalled by. You know, and I praise Nancy Mace for coming out and being like, I think that we should be exposing all these people. And of course, there was a lot of dudes, and there is a slush fund that they do use to pay people off through NDAs, meaning the government, a congressional member or senator or political figure, let's say, harasses a woman or male, it doesn't matter, harasses sexually a Stafford or somebody out in public, or whatever the case may be. And then that person, that political figure, can then go and turn on and take some money out of a slush fund and offer it to this individual. And it's like, it's close to $1 billion. And this started back in the 90s. So I think that it should be exposed. I think that we should be bringing this shit to the light. So anyways, I just don't want to hear any more about this Epstein shit. I want to see people being arrested for it. I want to see people being prosecuted for it. I want to see people being put in prison for it. If not, well, in my opinion, I think that people that were involved with the heinous crimes, they should be put to death. That's just my opinion. I think we should bring the death penalty back nationwide. That's my opinion. Then if you make examples of some of these individuals, they won't go and commit these horrible acts anymore, especially around here. We shouldn't be tolerating it. It should be a no fucking brainer, especially with all this whole Epstein this and Epstein that. And then you go and you turn around and vote no for exposing sexual misconduct in Congress. You voted no against that, but you made a huge big deal about it. Democrats and rhinos alike. I'm not saying all Republicans are rhinos, but there's a lot of rhinos out there. Oh, we need to get to the bottom of this. Well, you know, then why'd you vote no? And every single person that voted no to expose this horrible stuff that goes on in Congress, because we all know it happens. This shouldn't be something that blows your fucking mind. This should be something like, holy shit, we actually are gaining traction and we are bringing light to a real serious problem in our country. Not just in Congress, but corporations do this too. I mean, it's a very, very bad thing. And to use taxpayers' money to pay these people off that you violate or harass is absolutely fucking disgusting. And you should not call yourself a representation of our beautiful country. That's how I feel about that. So anyways, guys, it's time for my favorite part of the show. It's time for the handy news. Hey, you like that? Yeah, you do. Anyways, tonight's handy news is brought to you by the Neon Republic. Become a citizen and join the brighter side of freedom. Top story, Cher's son gets arrested 3 times or twice. What is that? Cher's son arrested twice in 3 days in New Hampshire. Elijah Blue Allman. Elijah Blue. Jesus, look at this fucking guy. He's 49 years old. Look at this fucking creature. Anyways, Elijah Blue Allman was arrested again after allegedly breaking into a Wyndham home and being found smoking on the couch. I don't know. They're not specific on what has been smoked. But could you imagine, like, guys just sitting there like stark ass naked in your cooking apron, you know, it says kiss the cook, and he's just sitting there smoking a fucking Virginia Slim, like, hey, nice of you to show up. And then he's sharing stones, everybody, and shows his stones to everybody. Well, he's showing his stones to people now. He's been arrested twice in 3 days. I mean, that's fucking crazy. And people are like, oh my God, it's Cher's son. Yeah. Well, I mean, what the fuck? This is how you're gonna conduct yourself, as being a superstar's son? Like, we're talking about Cher, you know what I mean? I got you, babe. It might be a dude. I'm not sure. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think about that. But I mean, you're arrested twice in 3 days. This lady doesn't care. She don't care. She might still be alive, but ever since Trump's been cracking down on, you know, the sex trafficking and the human trafficking, you know, these celebrities are dying off because they're fucking vampires and they can't suck the blood of the innocent, allegedly, in my opinion. Anyway, Scott Brown, running for Senate, former Mass Congressman, Senator in Massachusetts, is calling out congressional member of New Hampshire, Chris Pappas, for fundraising sources. Scott Brown has publicly criticized Representative Chris Pappas for relying heavily on out-of-state donors, which I think is bullshit, and it should not be allowed to happen. Somebody from California has no interest in New Hampshire. That's just my opinion. And people from New Hampshire, we don't have enough money here in New Hampshire to really give any donations to anybody. We're kind of fucking hat in hand. But nevertheless, let's see, out-of-state donors during his Senate run. This is coming up. We're going to be voting. The primaries are coming up on Tuesday here in New Hampshire, where we'll see who Republican and Democrats running for the Senate and who's going to take Jean Shaheen's spot. Thank God that fucking creature's dying off. Well, she's not dying off. I hope she lives a healthy, happy rest of her life. But let's see. While Pappas' campaign reported raising $2.27 million, so $2.27 million in the fourth quarter of 2025, far more than any Republican opponent. And, you know, John Sununu's on Epstein's list. So, or received an email from Epstein, not saying that he is guilty of anything, but what I am saying is that, you know, it just doesn't look good for you. So the filings do not break down state by state contributions in the summary that is available. What Brown has emphasized is that the pattern he sees is that Pappas's financial support extends beyond New Hampshire, again, which I think is absolute horseshit. It includes donors from major Democrat fundraising hubs in California, New York, Nevada, big areas like that, big blue states. Criticism fits into a broad political argument often made in New Hampshire campaigns that candidates should be funded primarily from Granite Staters rather than national networks. And I agree with that 100%, because you should be funded by the people you represent. Right. So if you're funded by California, then you're representing California. You're not representing the live free or die state, baby. That's my state. Are you kidding me? I don't understand where that makes any sense at all. Like, who else was it that Maggie Goodlander, who's going to be beat by Lily Tang Williams? It's going to happen. It's going to happen, baby. Oh, she is going to get beat out. I can't wait. Lily Tang Williams is an absolute treasure, and I'm so proud that she is an American. And she comes from communism, and she knows the horrors of communism, and she loves our country, and I love that too. So, but Maggie Goodlander took outside donations from DC, like close to I think it was like $3 or $4 million. So I just think it's a bunch of bullshit. You shouldn't be allowed to take any outside donations outside of your state. You should not be allowed to take any outside donations. But what they'll do is then they'll go make a bunch of bot accounts and like robot accounts, and then they'll just slowly funnel it in that way. You see what I'm saying? Oh, you like this mug? You like that, right? I prefer dangerous freedom over peaceful slavery. Yeah, baby. George Washington said that. And you can get this at the Neon Republic. Go ahead, scan the QR code up in the corner. Thank you so very much. But New Hampshire has a long tradition of emphasizing local control and local accountability. Ain't wrong, but that's not, I'm not going to get into it. When candidates receive significant support from outside of the state, opponents often frame it as a sign of national party influence rather than local representation. That's what it's supposed to be, though. Local representation, not national, not an agenda, which Pappas has voted for New Hampshire. Well, first of all, when he became a congressional member or started running in a political office back in 2005, he wrote an essay on why we should get rid of live free or die, which has been our motto since fucking forever, since the United States started. But he wanted to change it because, you know, liberals. Well, we got to tear the old stuff down. You know, commies, they got to tear everything down and make it into some fucking goofy shit. But yeah, and a significant disconnect from New Hampshire voters, which is the priority. That is the priority, especially on issues like taxes, energy, and education. I get, you know, if another state is doing it better than us or like us, that's great. We should be learning from each other, but we should not be taking things from like what California is doing, letting kids shit in cab boxes. I'm just not for that. You know what I mean? Like, it's a red flag about policy alignment. Suggests that candidates may be more responsive to a national donor than to its, you know, local representation. So, which is 100% true. That's why we need to fight back and say, no, we need to stop this. And Kelly Ayotte, our governor right now, should be, you know, banging the drum and saying, listen, I'm going to write an executive order. If you guys can't get together, I'm going to write it into law that you guys can't take outside donations from outside the state. You have to take it from your representation. That's how you have to do it. That's how it's been done forever. You scumbag cheaters. Now stop it. And that's what the governor is supposed to do. But, you know, the word govern seems to confuse these people that are called governors. It's, you know, it's crazy. They just kind of sit there like, yeah, you know, we got another photo op here in like 5 minutes. So whatever. And it's just absolutely crazy. I think that it should not be allowed. You should not be allowed to take outside donations from out of state. It should be your constituents that you represent here in the Granite State or whatever great state you represent. Anyways, lawmakers, again, in New Hampshire, Democrat lawmakers push an income tax while public schools bleed students and blow budgets. So what they want to do is, because they don't want to go asking Trump for money hat in hand, they came up with this, you know, brain dead scheme. Democrat lawmakers in Concord are pushing what they are calling the 3 times 3 or 3-3 tax saving plan, which is, you know, they're going to take 3% of every $1,000 you make, which is fucking stupid. I've never paid a tax, like besides property tax, you know, and the taxes that I need to pay. I've never paid any taxes in New Hampshire ever, outside of the ones that are already here, which property taxes in New Hampshire are absolutely fucking ridiculous. You know, plus all the other stuff too. Like if you get pulled over in New Hampshire, you're likely to get fucking smoked. You know why? Because they need to make the money, because we don't have an income tax. But that's what brings business here. And that's what these brain dead Democrats don't understand, is that they don't understand business and what makes a state thrive. It's not kumbaya and letting all of you just run amok and do whatever, blow the budget on whatever fucking stupid liberal idea comes across your brain, sex change operations for frogs, and you're going to make, you know, real live fucking rat birds. I don't know. What I do know is that taxing people is not going to help you balance your budget. Okay? Come up with better ideas. People don't, the reason you want to tax people is because people don't willingly want to give their money to your brain dead ideas. That's why you want to tax them. So then you can go and fund all these stupid ideas that you have in these public schools, like sex change operations and letting boys play with girls and letting girls play with boys and letting boys use girl bathrooms and all this other fucking the critical race theory and all this other stupid shit that they push in these schools. That's why they want to tax people in New Hampshire. I don't know how it is in your state, but here in New Hampshire, we don't have income tax. We don't have income tax. That's why businesses come here. That's why we have a good, thriving job market. It's actually one of the best places to start a small business is in the state of New Hampshire. Why would you want to scare off business? More money in the state means better education, not you taxing them. They're going to run away. They're already running from everywhere else. Massachusetts is ridiculous. Connecticut, let's not even talk about Connecticut and Rhode Island or New York City. It's ridiculous. But yeah, let's tax them more. That's a great idea. So what they're proposing is 3% of the income of all residents with a $35,000 deduction per tax. So $3 per thousand statewide property tax on all assetted value. The plan is pitched to raise about $1 billion a year for education, which the education system in New Hampshire is failing kids miserably. In Manchester alone, this is just Manchester alone, 40% of students cannot fucking read. You want more money? You can't even utilize the money you have now sufficiently to make sure that our children, our future, is adequately prepared to take on the fucking world. That's what we pay you for. That's what we've been paying you for decades. That's the whole point of it. And you failed us miserably. But yeah, you want to tax us. It's not going to happen. Thank God Kelly Ayotte, she's like, yeah, that's not going to fucking happen, guys. Okay. It's just, it's stupid. People are homeschooling their kids more. People are going alternative. A lot of people are biting the bullet and working one job and homeschooling. And a lot of people are working 2 or 3 jobs to pay for private schooling because when I go into a school board meeting and a parent or a teacher or whoever's running the school board tells me I'm not allowed to have a say or I'm not allowed to talk to them in any way that I see fit because I am allowed to say what I will and I don't care if it hurts your feelings. I wouldn't say mean things to you if you were doing a good job. Do you see what I'm saying? Like if you were doing a good job, I wouldn't even be at your fucking board meeting. It only seems the only time that I show up is when you're dragging your dick in the dirt. And it only takes one angry parent for them to fucking wake up. Only takes the rooster to stir the flock up. And then all of a sudden, you got a bunch of angry hens. And listen, nobody wants that shit. Nobody wants that shit. Bottom line is that we need to keep these progressive ideas like taxing because we don't know how to manage the money we have already because we're fucking retarded. Literally. Democrats are dumb. They don't know how to manage anything. They can't handle high pressure situations. Their foreign policies are horrible. Just open the gates. That's fine. That's cool. Don't worry. Those are our voters. They'll vote for us all the time. We'll just give them free shit. That's why we keep getting more seats in the House. Not anymore. Not anymore. Oh God, and I can't wait for them to redistrict lines here in New Hampshire. But ultimately, when it comes to the 4.2 million kids that were homeschooled in 2024, 7% of them, 7.6% of them are thriving better than they were when they were in school, like in public school. So, that's pretty good. So I would say, here we go. This is the trends right here because I like numbers. I pulled it up for you. The trends is nationally, and New Hampshire is right in the thick of it. Homeschooling is exploding. It grew 4.9% in 2024-2025 school year, nearly triple pre-pandemic rates, and 36% of states hit all-time highs in homeschooling enrollment. New Hampshire just opened statewide open enrollment to any school that you want to go to, any public school that you want to go to. What does that tell you? What does that tell you? Public school enrollment is shrinking. Enrollment was already slow before COVID, but then after 2022, it fell sharply, especially in urban and high poverty districts. Families didn't come back. They left for good, and that's true. Because people don't want to. And then when you go to the school board meeting, like I said before, you have to deal with snotty people that don't care. They have an agenda because of their liberal ideology or whatever. And they're looking at what they want and not what's best for the student. This is a public school, so the public goes to this school. So we have to think about the public, not what you want, but what the kids need to set them up for success to take on the world. That's just my opinion about it. So as far as the tax goes, you're not going to get it. It's not going to push through, especially if you have a Republican in there. They're not going to ever. The GOP right now is fighting to write a law permanently saying that you can never have an income tax in the state of New Hampshire, which I'm all for. Hold on one second. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you're thinking. I always want to know what you're thinking. If you pay state income tax, let me know. How much if you're comfortable sharing it in the comments, how much do they take out? We don't have it here. We just have federal. That's it. And they still get raked over the coals. So if you're paying roughly 30 to 40% of your check, could you imagine the first 100 hours that you work goes directly towards your taxes before you get paid? Before you, the American people. It's crazy. It's crazy. But that, ladies and gentlemen, was the handy news. And it was brought to you by the Neon Republic. Scan the QR code, become a citizen, and join the brighter side of freedom. Man, that's awesome. I love bringing back the handy news. Thank you guys so very much for being here with me. Really do appreciate every single one of you. Let's get back to these videos. Now, Biden was a fake. We all know it. Okay. He's done. He's dumb. It's a tragedy what they did to him. It should be considered elderly abuse, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. Leave yours in the comments. Let's get going.
Was the number one issue in the campaign the president's fitness or his age? Did you ever see President Biden
both?
in a wheelchair?
I did not.
Guy looked like fucking Jimmy Carter. They had to zap him in the ass with a cattle prod and feed him methamphetamine to get him out on stage. Are you kidding me?
And how
it's crazy.
The cover-up actually operated.
Senior aides that worked here until just a couple months ago, the beginning of this year, manipulating an ailing president for their own gain.
How much were you paid for your role in the campaign in 2024?
Just a little bit short of $4 million.
I'm sorry, how much?
$4 million.
You believe that the president should stay in the race. Your own financial stake in the matter was a factor in any way in your
That's crazy.
I don't believe that.
And when it comes to President Biden's decline, the official word from Biden world about all these news stories is that nothing has been revealed this week that shows that President Biden was anything but an effective president.
Yes, I noticed that he was aging in terms of his physical condition. I noticed that, he shuffled more.
That he has more stumbling over words and gaffes than he did at the beginning of the term.
It sucks that we get these videos so much later.
His speeches were less effective, I thought.
We
You
talked
know,
about
like,
age. We knew it was an issue.
it's shitty on how selective the media really is on how they cover everything. I think it's just a goddamn sham. But anybody, you know, don't believe your lying eyes or anything, but anybody with a fucking brain in their head could have saw the man and been like, this is just a shame. I felt bad for the guy. Like, I don't hate any president. You know, I mean, I don't like Obama. I didn't like Bush. You know, both warmongers. One's a liar and one's, you know, a liar and a cheat. You know, the chief and deporter himself, who's in a lot of hot water for sending trillions of dollars to terrorist organizations, allegedly. We're going to find out more. Thank you, Tulsi Gabbard, for being fucking stupendous at your job. Two great picks right there, Marco Rubio and Tulsi Gabbard. Fucking love them both. Leave a comment down below. Let's go.
Tried to design a strategy.
We had a discussion at the senior advisor level about whether the president should have a cognitive exam.
Yeah, he should have. Yeah, every single one of them.
Complete denial of the
If you are over the age of 60 years old and you are in the government, you should have to have a cognitive test and a physical fitness test every single year to make sure that you are physically able and mentally able to uphold your duties to the people. That's just my opinion. Leave yours in the comment. Let's go.
president's cognitive decline.
Start your tape right now, because I'm about to tell you the truth. And F you if you can't handle the truth.
Scarborough, you
version
this
of
scumbag
Biden is the best Biden ever.
Oh my God! Yeah, I remember watching that.
It's as good as it's been over the years.
He is sharp. He is on top.
Yeah, and then did you watch him at Reverend Jesse Jackson's funeral? Did you watch him? Yeah, okay, yeah, he's sharp as a fucking marble.
Things. Do you regret saying that President Biden had a mental acuity? He had a sharpness to him.
I said what I believe to be true.
And you think he was as sharp as you?
That is not the question to be asking this lady. She thinks she's Native American with the fucking hair and skin of a Dutch woman. Come on.
I had not seen decline.
How'd you get rich?
And I hadn't.
You're a liar. You're a liar too.
How people interpret
Can't wait for you to meet the tribunal, which we'll get to here in a little bit.
We're watching the testimony of this woman here, Annie Thomas Sr. She's the former senior advisor to President Joe Biden. She was the third person set to appear before James Comer's committee. She has now taken the fifth. There is now a pattern of key Biden confidants seeking to shield themselves from criminal liability for this potential conspiracy.
Were you ever told to lie about the president's health?
Yes, probably a lot.
Counsel, I must respectfully decline to answer based upon the physician patient privilege and in reliance on my right under the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution.
Let the record reflect that Dr. O'Connor has invoked the Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination. Dr. O'Connor, did you ever believe the president was unfit to execute his duties as president?
And we can tell you that he will have the same answer with respect to any questions that are asked.
Did any unelected official or family member of President Joe Biden execute the duties of the presidency? Did Joe Biden, a member of his family, or anyone at the White House ever instruct you to lie regarding his health?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer the question pursuant to my Fifth Amendment rights under the Constitution.
And if that wasn't shocking enough, Dick Tapper claims Hunter Biden was basically acting like the chief of staff.
Hunter was driving the decision making for the family. He was almost like a chief of staff.
Oh, remember when everybody was blaming Hunter for the blow in the White House? It wasn't his. It wasn't his. They still have it. They never got rid of it. They still have the bag of blow. And I think that they're saving it for midterms because, yeah, I mean, or they're saving it for election year or something. I think that it was Kamala Harris's or Kamala or Kamala or Kamalata had a lot of Kamala. Anyways, leave a comment. Let's go.
Was an uptick ever when Hunter Biden was around?
Yes. Towards the end, I think he was living with the president.
They were lying not to
the
public. They were lying to other Democrats.
Have you ruled out a pardon for your son?
Yes.
Were you in favor of Hunter Biden getting a pardon? Yes.
Did you ever ask Joe Biden if the allegations regarding his son were true?
No.
Ian Sams, who was the White
You're
House
lying under
spokesperson,
oath. You
interacted with him 2 times. 2 times.
Two times.
It's really important to take the soundbite and understand the context.
How often would you say that you interacted with the president in person?
I interacted with him pretty infrequently. I think I met with the president a handful of times during my tenure in the White House. I got to say, that doesn't look anything like the president that I know. When I deal with him, he's sharp, he's asking tough questions. That's the President Biden that so many of us experience every single day.
You don't think it's missing some context?
Yeah.
I don't.
So it raises serious concerns and serious questions about who was calling shots in the White House. If the White House spokesperson is being shielded from the President of the United States, who was operating the Oval Office?
Age wasn't an issue for you or for President Biden?
That is a great question, Representative Comer. That is a great question.
No, it was not a concern.
Do you think President Biden was fully in command that night during the debate?
I do believe that he was fully in command that night during the debate.
I knew it was very difficult to get past some of the
Oh my gosh. There's no way. Stop it.
The voters' concerns
Stop
about
it.
President Biden were wrong? Yes.
He often would confuse names.
You think it got worse as you knew him?
Yes.
Yeah.
Are you sure you're being
Duh.
honest with yourself when you say you have the mental and physical capacity to serve another 4 years? Yes, I am.
I did not have the experience that it took him longer to answer a simple question.
He could stumble. He also stumbled some physically.
What is a cheat fake?
We watched him fall upstairs and fall off a fucking bike.
Did you or did
Are you
anyone
kidding
ever
me?
verify if the videos you were talking about
You ever
were
watch
in
this
fact
man walk
cheap
across the
fakes?
beach,
I believe
Sam?
so.
But there were instances
Looks like
where
a toddler
videos were
trying to
circulating
gain its
of President
balance.
Biden
It's
appearing
crazy.
confused or freezing for a moment that were real, correct?
Not that I recall.
She told you this real video of Biden getting lost in an Italian field was fake. Now she's saying, yeah, my White House was broken and I'm switching parties.
And was suffering from a cold that really constrained his voice and constrained his ability to be forceful in the debate.
Do you attribute President Biden's performance that night to him being under the weather?
That's my assumption.
The ability of Medicare for us to be able to negotiate drug prices with big pharma companies.
So when your hands are like this, like when people are older and they like hold their hands out when they're talking and stuff like that, it's actually a sign of cognitive decline. Just so you know. In case you ever wondered why like old people like hold their hands like this when they're talking, it's because of old age, but it's also, has to do with he obviously were in early stages of dementia of some sort. So it's unfortunate what they did to him. I mean, I didn't like his policies. I didn't like him as a president. I don't wish any ill towards the man, but how they treated him towards the end of his presidency, it's a fucking shame. Jill Biden should be prosecuted for elderly abuse. That's for fucking true.
Have you ever seen him have a cold or the flu before?
Yes.
Dr. Jill Biden.
During the debate?
You're a fucking doctor. You're an idiot.
It was clear what he was trying to say.
Dealing with
Yep.
If we
There it
finally
is.
beat Medicare.
It was the people that knew he was
And if Obamacare is so great, then why is none of our political representatives on it? Can somebody explain that to me? It's kind of crazy.
cognitively impaired and that took over the auto pen. They stole the presidency of the United States.
Do you know who the people who were actually operated the auto pen were?
I do not.
Do you know any of the actual staff who were using the auto pen?
No.
Yeah, you do, you liar.
Have you never seen a decision memo laying out the breakdown of when the president should hand sign a particular set of documents?
Not prior to prep.
Did he hand sign all executive orders?
He did
Chinese
not
water
hand
torture.
sign
Now.
many executive orders.
We'll get him out of
He
him.
did not sign-
Not waterboard him. Don't
Can you
waterboard
read
him.
your
Don't do
response?
that. No.
The
Just let a little trickle of water hit their forehead and let it just trickle down their face, and their hands are tied down. They can't itch it. God, could you fucking imagine that hell?
Was used excessively, and yet no one can say for certain that Joe Biden was given the orders to use the auto pen.
Because he wasn't.
Transparent from the very beginning with providing information as it occurs throughout this process.
That we anticipated that her report was going to come out, and that we didn't feel an entire interview before the Super Bowl talking about classified documents was going to help the cause too much.
I think you can question the validity and the legality of those pardons and executive orders, and that's huge.
But the president is absolutely sharp, fit, on top of his game.
So they're just making up lies to attack the president.
Are they?
But do you think his mental acuity had declined?
Yeah. He was pretty much a fucking husk by the time he got out of office. I mean, it's just absolutely fucking insane. All right, let's go on to this one.
That's a great asset. More inflation. What a stupid son of a bitch. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters. Biden
was a mean guy, you know. He wasn't a very nice dude, you know. And that's also elderly people that are used to be nice. I don't know his life. I don't know if he was nice or not. But his you know, before they have dementia or early signs of dementia or aggression, like them using language that they never used before or being aggressive in a manner that they never used to be before, you know. So, I mean, the guy could have been cooked a long time ago, and they just kept him pumping full of drugs until his body was pretty much just a deflated balloon in a tuxedo, or not a tuxedo, but a really nice taxpayer suit. Let's go.
Inauguration again, and I noticed none of the military had any ranks or honors on their jackets, so I decided to go back and look at other past inaugurations, and I noticed Bush, they had their ranks on their jackets. I looked at Obama. This isn't actually the inauguration, but it is a laying of the wreath. For some reason, the video wouldn't edit that I found for Obama's inauguration, but you can see here they all have their military rank on their jackets.
You notice that? Can you see that? They have their military ranks on their jackets right there. Obama's touching the wreath, hanging it on the stool, the tripod, whatever. Huh.
And the next one you'll see with Trump. Trump has his, and I want you to notice too that all three of them were able to touch the wreath and kind of push it back on the stand. But I want you to notice Biden's on what happens with his here, because his is different. Because remember, there's no military rank on any of the jackets anywhere. You can't find him. So he comes
out. Oh, he comes out from the side there. Do you notice? Did you see that?
And you're going to see.
Yeah, there's nothing. They're not wearing anything. Look at that. There's no rack on there. No medals, no rank, no nothing. Holy shit.
He doesn't walk down the steps. He walks out from the left if you're facing the tomb, which is weird. So you see there's no military ranking on any
of them.
Military officer there. They don't get to touch the wreath for some reason. They have to walk up to it and do this awkward, hey buddy, how you doing?
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
What the fuck?
And then they stand there, look at it, and then they turn around and walk back. So why? I also want to point out that they did the 21 gun salute with 2 guns actually at the cemetery when he arrived to the tomb of the unknown soldier. And then you got these 3 knuckleheads that showed up for some reason, which is weird too. And they showed up way before the family did, because you can see the family walking in. But I figured out why they did the 1:22 seconds of silence or awkwardness from my last video. It was because they were supposed to do the 21 gun salute after the president got sworn in. This is Trump's 21 gun salute directly after he got sworn into office as president. Now you can go back and you can find videos where you can hear Obama's going off, you can hear Bush's going off, but Biden didn't do it for some reason. And the military didn't have their honors on or their ranks. And it kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it? Now, I want to read this about the 21 gun salute. It says, in accordance with the ceremonial standard operating procedure of the 3rd U.S. Infantry, i.e. the Old Guard, the various gun salutes are assigned as follows. Each round in a given salute is fired one at a time. The number of cannon used in a battery depends upon the intervals between each round fired. Now, I want you to notice that Trump had 4 cannons firing. Now, the military code says they want an odd number firing, so this isn't all that awkward with 4 of them firing. But I want you to look back at Biden's inauguration when they're laying the wreath and he's pulling up, that there's 3 cannons there. 2 are actually firing every 6 seconds, which will bring it to 2 minutes and 6 seconds by the time it's all done. Now, this is interesting here. A 3-gun battery firing 2 of its guns with 5-second intervals between rounds and 1 gun remaining at the ready in case of a misfire. Such a battery would be used at an armed forces full honors funeral or for a state arrival ceremony of a foreign dignitary at the Tomb of the Unknowns in Arlington National Cemetery. So they were firing 2 guns that is right on with this for a arrival of a foreign dignitary. What's up with that? I think you can figure that out now, can't you?
Huh. What is that? Leave a comment. Let me know what you're thinking. I always want to know what you're thinking. So with the whole thing that's going on hold on one second. I'll be right back with you guys. When disaster hits, you don't want excuses. You want action and peace of mind. And emergency storable food from My Patriot Supply does just that, delivering over 2,000 calories a day in 8 hearty varieties, good for over 25 years. That's 25 years of protection for when the stinky stuff hits the fan. So scan the QR code up in the corner or click the link down in the description and protect you and your family for when emergency strikes. All orders before 3 p.m. ships same day, and anything over $150 ships for free. Remember, calories equal energy, and energy equals survival. Be ready for anything before anything happens with My Patriot Supply. Now back to the show.
Spouse, and yesterday my post went viral. I was expecting hate comments, as one does. This country is so divided, so of course I expected some along the way. However, this one is disgusting. I wasn't even going to give this person the attention they were so badly seeking. However, I feel like that'd be doing a disservice to so many military members and military families. So I want the right people to do their thing. So go ahead and blow this up.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't understand why you're going to sit there and say horrible things. Like, don't get me wrong, not every military man or military member is a good person. You know, there are a lot of shitbags out there, but a lot of people join for the right reasons. You know, there's a lot of benefits to joining the military. The only bad benefit of joining the military is that you could possibly die, especially if you're infantry. But these people would be remembered as heroes, especially in the eyes of the ones that loved him, you know? Like, he's a hero in my eyes. He's a lot braver than anybody else. Well, I'm not going to sign up for the military-industrial complex. Yeah, okay, it's understandable. I get it. I get it. But it's not just about the military-industrial complex. It's about being a part of something more than yourself. That's what it's about. So stop being a fucking douchebag. And it's, of course, it's the liberals. You're bombing Iran. Oh, you're going to support a terrorist, huh? Forgot about the Epstein files. That's not a big deal anymore, right? Got too close to the sun there, Icarus. Fucking. Anyways, this next video I got for you. Dems are getting scared. Dems are getting scared. And why are they getting scared? Well, that's because, you know, well, here, I'll let the video talk for itself.
I want to find out what your involvement was in the Iran deal with the ballots of cash that were sent to.
We have to do a few media interviews. I'm sorry.
But did you have any involvement in that? Is that why you're not answering me?
Look at that big old shit-eating grin on her face. Her face is turning red. So this is the big mouth that Scalise. No, not Scalise. Slotkins is what her name should be. But anyways, she was the one that went up there and said, you must disobey unlawful orders without, you know, specifying what that is. And anybody that's served in any type of militaristic atmosphere, whether it be law enforcement or the military, there is a very structured code of conduct that you have to abide by, and everything has to be clear cut. There cannot be any gray area. Okay, this is for legal purposes, and then also for the most basic of dummies that join and decide that they want to be in law enforcement or in the military. You see what I'm saying? That's why everything is so straightforward and clear cut. Because if there's gray, then gray areas create confusion, and confusion gets people killed. You see what I'm saying? So that's why they have a very clear cut command. But yeah, trillions of dollars.
Terrorism? You don't have any
Scalise. No, not Scalise. Slotkins. Representative Slotkins. Here we go. I'm going to play this one more time for the people in the back.
Just asking, I want to find out what your involvement was in the Iran deal with the pallets of cash that were sent to.
We have to do a few media interviews. I'm sorry.
But did you have any involvement in that? Is that why you're not answering me? Because you were involved in that deal with Obama to send the pallets of cash over to Iran that supported terrorism? You don't have any comment?
Well, devil's breathing down your neck, huh? Made a deal with the devil, and now they're coming to reap the benefits, huh? Well, this is what's going to happen to you, you scumbag. You're going to get caught, and then you're going to pay. Hopefully, the ultimate price for treason. But I hope you pay. But you know, we have to find you guilty of that first. See, I believe in the law. I was former law enforcement, so I believe in it. And I think that the best way to beat these people is to use the systems that we have in place on the ones that try to delegitimize or take advantage of the very laws that they create. And what better way to stick it to them than to use the law to find them guilty. I can't wait for that day. It's going to be awesome. I hope they televise the tribunals and get them. Okay. So the thing I'm going to talk about right here in a second is America is done with the foreign wars thing. You know, there was a Marine in the halls there a couple of days ago where, you know, he was saying nobody wants Israel to fight Israel's wars anymore, which is true. I agree with that 100%. I personally don't think that we should be involved with anybody's conflicts or anything like that. I think that we should be completely out of it. If you want to sell them the weapons to kill each other, whatever. I mean, I don't think that we should be, you know, encouraging that they kill each other. But at the same time, a lot of these nations have been fighting since Christ came over on the Mayflower, even before that. Okay. So, you know, there's not really much we're going to be able to do. The Jews and the Palestinians and all those people in that area. And to be honest with you, if you want to talk about history when it comes to Israel, it's actually owned by the Rothschilds. So that's for another conversation. But they've been killing each other for so fucking long. We don't have anything to do with it. It's the same thing with like the guerrilla tribes in Africa, and you know, the other third world countries like Brazil and Argentina and all those other places in South America that we should be trying to help out and, you know, promote freedom and democracy and, you know, and have them live a similar lifestyle to ours, not directly, but you know, power to the people. That's what I say. But anyways, we shouldn't be involved with these foreign wars, especially in my opinion with Israel. I just think it's just time to be done. I think that we are occupied, in my opinion, by a little group called AIPAC. That's just my opinion. I'm probably going to get flagged. This video probably get copyrighted or some stupid shit, so this video won't go out to anybody, but that's just my opinion on it. Is it proof? No, but they have their fingers in a lot of stuff, and you know, we're done fighting for them. We send them billions of dollars for nothing, literally nothing but death. That's it. We send our people, our guns, our everything, our resources, our time, our energy for them to come over here and be dual citizens and pretty much run everything. All the big corporations in our country are all owned by dual citizens. Of where? Well, you guessed it. Right over in that little dirt spot that everybody keeps fighting for. Which I really honestly don't care about. They can do whatever they want. You want to do business, like I was saying before. You want to do business. You know, you want to buy guns from us because we're the best at making guns and weapons. That's cool. I'm good with that. We have other stuff here too as well that we can do business. Our manufacturing back in the day is what put us on the fucking map, by the way. So, you know, if we got back to that and everything like that, we'd be a total powerhouse in the world's economic stage. And that's what we should be, you know. We shouldn't be involved with these foreign wars. 55% of Americans want reduced military commitments abroad, which I agree with that. Why do we have military bases all over the world? Take a wild guess. To keep everybody in check? No. But that's what they say. It's to keep everybody in check. But nevertheless, you know, people don't want it anymore, especially after 20 years that we spent over in Afghanistan and in Iraq, Kuwait, that whole area, which we're going back into. Essentially, it's like right fucking next door. Yay. You know, did we not learn from the 20 years and the botched, you know, extraction from Afghanistan, where several military members lost their lives? I think it was 13. Nobody said anything about it, but, oh, you know, people died in Iran. And all of a sudden, Trump's the worst ever. He's sending military people to die. It's like, yeah, well, we did that for 2 presidents before him, for Obama, and then also for Bush. So what the fuck are we talking here? You're just talking out your ass because you're angry. And this is why we're not going to get anything done, because it's come to the point with our politics that it's you're either on board or you're not. There's no moderation. And it's frustrating. It really, really, really fucking is. The double standard is very frustrating. And Americans are done with it. They really are. I mean, 55% of Americans, that's over half. Okay. That's 5% over half. But over half of America wants to be done with this fucking shit. And that's according to the Chicago Council of Global Affairs. You know? But confidence in the military has been its lowest since 2018. I mean, it's really rock bottom. And that has to do with the whole, you know, LGBTQ, you know, that went through the military, and the whole DEI, and, you know, military leaders can wear dresses, and male military leaders can wear dresses, and that whole thing. And that's going away. And recruitment is up ever since Trump took back over, and ever since Pete Hegseth, which I think he's doing a good job so far, because he's behind the fighters. He goes out there. He's a Bronze Star recipient. You know, a lot of people don't know that. The reason they don't like him is because of how he talks about the military in positions, and how females shouldn't be in the front lines. Administration, supportive roles, sure, but they shouldn't be front lines. And that's why they don't like Pete Hegseth, you know, because a war fighter should be a warrior. Okay. Not saying women can't do it. There are exceptions to the rules. We all know that, right? Okay. But nevertheless, the military is coming back, and we don't want to take this push to send our military back. We want to vamp it up after 20 years of getting our dick knocked out in the dirt. I mean, we wasted so much money and then left $88 billion worth of equipment over there. And don't get me wrong, I say this all the time. I don't like war. I don't want war. I'd rather be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war. That's a true thing. But we are fucking good at it. You know, it sucks. You know, and I understand the warrior mentality. And again, I'd rather be a warrior myself in a garden and just minding my business, you know, kind of like John Wick. You know what I mean? That's total badass until you fuck with me. And then you'll fucking regret the day that you fucked with me. That's what I think. Strong people, strong mind. So people can't infiltrate us from the inside, you know. That's why communism is a slow thing. And then they got too greedy. They got too far ahead of themselves here in this final push. But, you know, the reason it was so hard to get through in America, because we all thought on the same mind when it came to America. You know, everybody said the Pledge of Allegiance. There was no, this is racist, that's racist. You know, our founding fathers owned slave, blah, 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 all this crap. You see what I'm saying? That is the communism there. That's what's bleeding into our country and fighting in these foreign wars, which people generally don't fucking want. A majority of average people, not crazy people like myself that follow this shit, but average people don't want war. They just don't want. They just want to go to fucking work and be able to own a home. They don't want to have to worry about some crazy towelhead across the way bombing us to fucking who knows what, or unleashing sleeper cells throughout America and just reaping havoc on everything. Remember the influx that Tulsi Gabbard, because I'm a crazy person and an idiot savant for this, I'm like fucking Rain Man, you know what I mean? Definitely a six, definitely a six. Anyways, Tulsi Gabbard found all that information about the influx of first responders equipment that's been purchased. Millions of dollars worth of law enforcement and first responders uniforms. What does that tell you? And you can buy it as a civilian. You don't have to be military to buy military clothing. You can go and buy it. You can go and buy a police officer's uniform, which I don't think you should be allowed to. I don't think that you should be allowed to buy the colors that law enforcement wears, you know. But that's just my opinion. I don't think that you should be able to go and buy military spec camouflage. You know what I mean? That's just my opinion. But remember that there was a huge influx. People don't want to have to live their life in fear, but people like fucking Ben Shapiro, the War Hawk, which that video I'm going to play here in a second, you know, and Laura Loomer and Mark Levine are out here fucking, oh yeah, you know, I mean, President Trump, I mean, this is the strongest I've ever seen him ever. Remember, Ben Shapiro and all these big mouth, you know, Israel lovers, because they are Jews, are sitting here saying several years ago when Trump first ran that President Trump was a shitbag, and they were never Trumpers. And they still are, but their agenda is being pushed. The Jews are being protected. That's what they care about. You see what I'm saying? Ben Shapiro, Laura Loomer, Mark Levin, these people are these anti-Semite, you need to put Jews first. You know, I mean, Ben Shapiro's been caught on the mic many a time saying that, you know, if things fall through in America, well, he can just go home to Israel. Oh, isn't that just lovely? Isn't that just lovely? You come here, Benny boy, with your big eyebrows and your little baby voice. You take advantage of our systems. You take advantage of our way of life, reaping millions of dollars. Your company's worth $1 billion fucking dollars. And then you lost Candace Owens. And I don't know why Mike Knowles still stays around the Daily Wire. It's pretty much trash after the whole, you did the Lady Ballers, and then you kind of fell off because, you know, you did a live stream one day where you tried to get Mark Chauvin, the guy that is in prison right now, wrongfully, in my opinion, for the death of George Floyd. You tried to get people to sign up on an email list or a petition. You try to get people to sign a petition. I don't know why this is so hard, to get Floyd, or not Floyd, but Chauvin out of prison, but he was charged by the state, not federally. So you can't, there's no way he could get a pardon from the president. 1, 2, it was just to sell you products and offer you discounts to the Daily Wire. Wow, what a surprise. These people do what they do best, huh? Or let's not forget about the giant rat hole they found in New York City, filled with these people, these Orthodox Jews under the ground, tunneling illegally under the ground. They're like, well, we didn't know. What? It's like, what do you fucking mean you didn't know? They found mattresses. They found baby diapers. They found playpens. I wonder what they were doing under there. Nobody questioned anything. Or what about the YouTuber that just cracked the case of the influx of Orthodox Jews over in Jersey that just pretty much took over northern Jersey? I know this isn't anti-Semitic in any way, shape, or I don't even believe in that, to be honest with you. But what I'm saying is that why do we have to fight for these people? Why do we have to allow them to come here and not assimilate to the American way, but we have to assimilate to the Jewish way, the Israel way? I say, get the fuck out of here. That's what I say. I say all these people like Mark Levin and Laura Loomer, and there's a multitude out there. What's his name? Lindsey Graham is a war hawk that pushes hard for Israel. Ted Cruz is another war hawk that pushes hard for Israel. We have to send them billions of our dollars. 18 billion they want. That's what they want. Are you okay with that? I'm not okay with it. I say that, but it don't matter because the people that represent me, well, they get money from outside donors that say, hey, listen, we say that you vote this way. And they say, oh, yeah, whatever keeps my campaign and keeps me in office. We were just talking about it earlier. Chris Pappas, it happens to him all the time. Staunchly defends Israel. Yeah, we should go over there and kill more of our brothers and sisters for people that don't give a fuck about us and do nothing for us but cause more headaches and problems. In my opinion. Leave yours in the comment. All right, let's get some videos going. I've been sitting here rambling. Well, that's the GTFO report. People are done. You know, people are more worried about we're more worried about our borders. We're more worried about our economy, our family, and our future, and our children's future. We're not worried about some fucking desert out in the Middle East. We're not. And if you are, then go there and grab a rifle and defend that land. We don't owe you anything. Nothing. Zero. My son doesn't owe you anything. My daughters don't owe you anything. My kids won't owe you anything. This is a free country. We don't owe you jack squat. And it's about time that people start realizing that, in my opinion. Again, leave yours in the comment down below. All right, let's get through these videos because then I got to get the fuck out of here. I got to go. I know. It's awesome talking to me. I know it's a great time. But here's Ben Shapiro running his mouth saying, Israel doesn't need America's help. It can defend itself. Little tiny ass country that's the size of fucking New Jersey. Yeah. Right, okay. It can do that, Benny boy. Your fucking eyebrows look like goddamn wrath. Look like, I wonder if you wake up and be like, oh, what kind of caterpillars am I going to glue to my fucking forehead today?
America to fight wars for Israel. Nope.
Look at that little pencil. No, it can't, and neither can you. I remember when he was in a debate. It was like a round table debate with this whole transgender thing, and it was a transgender Navy SEAL, and he's like, you call me ma'am, or you call me sir one more time, and I'm going to show you a ma'am. And he swallowed so hard. He was shitting his pants. And he's like, yeah, okay. It's like, it's not like his bodyguards are going to be able to do anything. The guy's a fucking Navy SEAL. You know, good luck. You know what I mean? Let's go.
If Israel is forced to the wall, the possibility of nuclear exchange is extremely high. That is why it is very important that the United States provide the material aid to Israel.
Oh, no. Let's go back to that forehead, though. Look at that. Look at those.
To Israel.
Fucking Poindexter. There it is right there. Oh, wow. We need it's imperative that we get involved. Why? Why is it imperative? You know why? You know why these people these Islams, they don't like us. You know why? Because we get involved with Israel. That's why. If we didn't get involved with shit that has nothing to do with us, guess what? They wouldn't even fucking care about us. I'm telling you. They respect power. They respect power, but they utilize stupidity, the Democrat Party, these liberals, these radicals, to get themselves into the positions that they are in right now in America. They ride on the back of communism. They all do it. Jews and Muslims alike. It's in what they read and believe. Look up the word goyim. Go ahead. Go look up what they call you in Islam belief. People that it's some of the worst words in the world. They think we're slaves. They think that they can do this to you. Wait till I show you the next week on Thursday. I got one for you guys about how they allegedly, our baloney supply are all the dead kids that we have aborted. It's to steal our grace from God. And I also have a belief that, the Jews of the Old Testament believe in Moloch. And I think that Islam, they believe in Satan. That's what I believe. That's my opinion. Leave yours in the comments. But I mean, again, Benny Boy sitting here. Why do we have to go? Why is it imperative? Well, nuclear exchange. Fuck it. Whatever. We're ready to go. I don't know about you, but I know a bunch of people here in America that are ready to fucking rock and roll. Dig a hole in the ground. It'll be fine. It's fine. Blow each other up. We already know that these people, these billionaires, are building these mega cities under the ground right now. Some of them are using taxpayers' dollars for grant funding and stuff and calling it a project. You don't think it's not happening? Mark Zuckerberg pretty much fucking bought Hawaii for that purpose. So he can build his underwater fucking Legion of Doom fortress. It's fucking crazy. Anyways.
They say that I want America to fight wars for Israel. Nope.
Yes,
nope.
You do.
First of all, Israel can take care of herself.
Fucking scumbag.
If Israel is forced to the wall, the possibility of nuclear exchange is extremely high. That is why it is very important that the United States provide the material aid to Israel.
Bozo! What a fucking jerk off.
Getting sidetracked. Listen, all the chaos that's going on in Minnesota, this small-time mayor, the quasi-governor of Tampon Town, small fry, small fish. With all the chaos, smoke, and mirrors, there's somebody behind the wheel. And that's who MAGA is after. They want you to believe that these riots in Minnesota, that this is real. All of a sudden, this ain't real. These people are paid to do outlandish, shocking, appalling things, ridiculous things, just to keep your attention focused on them. This has nothing to do with ICE, son, but it has everything to do with money and protecting the big fish behind all the show and smoke and mirrors and buzzword lines. There's somebody behind the wheel. There's somebody driving that crazy train, and that's who we after.
Amen to that. Yeah, for real. Yeah, it's the little fish that we're not worried about. Like again, Tim, that's just the tip of the iceberg. I have a video about the daycare fraud in Massachusetts, where a guy was just pointing out that there's like 4,000 daycare providers in like a fucking 20 block radius. It's absolutely incredible, or something like that. But anyways, that's exactly who they are after. The people like this.
Arc of a villain. Kidnapping children is not what great nations do.
Her parties are incredible at her house, too.
Yeah, she does have good parties, and she makes good pizza as well.
She makes great pizza,
Wonderful pizza. All right, just, y'all are all like, whatever.
How was the pizza? Was it good?
Oh, what?
Did he make it himself?
Amal's pizza was better than Clooney's. They both made, everybody made a certain kind of pizza.
There's no pizza we didn't love.
Something that he doesn't.
So, and to let everybody know, everybody's like, oh man, you're really mild-mannered about all this. I already knew about Pizzagate before it was now a thing. I remember when Alex Jones had to retract his statement on live air about what he said about Pizzagate and how it was a bogus thing. And then several years later, he got pinched in the whole fucking Sandy Hook. Oh, well, that's a false flag attack or false flag operation or whatever he called it. He got sued for $1 billion, but still on the air, so seemingly somehow sued still on the air, which just goes to tell you a lot. But yeah, I mean, this should be a known thing. These people, Hollywood is inherently evil. I mean, Hollywood. Think about it.
Different kinds, 5 different kinds or 6 different kinds of pizza. Clooney's was excellent.
To show my appreciation, I am inviting you all to a pizza party tonight at Jennifer Aniston's house. I'll see you there.
Let's keep going. Let's keep it going. So just remember, this is all alleged, by the way. Okay. There's no definitive proof. Not yet, at least. Hopefully there will be. Modi of India is one of a long time 5. Good versus evil war. Huh. Jesus. Burn witch, bring out the stake and the holy water. Look at that creature. It doesn't even look human. Doesn't even look like Hillary Clinton at all. Her cheeks. It's terrifying. She looks like a fucking alien wearing a mask or some shit. Anyways. Real Hillary was taken away. The media said she was having a seizure. It was not. Look closely. She's fighting to get away. And resisting arrest, she knew what it was coming to plant. She planted her feet and heels into the ground.
Hillary Clinton. But it's these unexpected images on the fringes of the service that could turn it into one of the most memorable and talked about moments of the campaign. Hillary Clinton frail, stumbling, and seemingly almost fainting as she was carried into a waiting vehicle.
I don't know. That's the next day.
Not long afterwards, she emerged from her daughter Chelsea's apartment in New York.
Yeah, she was fine.
Making light of what had happened. Frail, stumbling, and memorable. And
where does it? It says that she put her heels in the ground. That's when they made the switch with the double.
But it's these unexpected images on the fringes of the service that could turn it into one of the most memorable and talked about moments of the campaign.
Does that look like
Hillary Clinton
look
frail,
like she's resisting?
Stumbling?
It looks like she's actually
almost fainting as she was carried into a waiting vehicle.
Like if I was trying to resist, like I'm taking eyes, I'm taking ears. Like if I know I'm going to GITMO and I'm going to be facing the firing squad, like, buddy, I'm making a scene. It's happening. There's just no way. I don't know. It seems like bullshit to me.
Not long afterwards, she emerged from her daughter Chelsea's apartment in New York.
It's a beautiful day in New York.
Making light of what had happened. Her campaign...
Nothing is as it seems. There are thousands of others. Yeah. Well, that's the whole thing, like with Epstein. They said Epstein had a shitload of doubles. I mean, Hitler did. So did Stalin. So did fucking Mao. You know, everybody does. You know, look at how many people dress like fucking Elvis and look like Elvis. Look at how many people dress and look like Michael Jackson, sound like Michael Jackson. You know, what about Trump? My Trump impression is not the best. It actually sounds like an old Jewish lady from Jersey who smokes a lot of cigarettes. But, you know, on day one, I promise that egg prices will plummet. Okay. And no one can do it like me. No one's better than me. All right. I'm telling you right now, it'll be the most amazing thing you've ever seen. Anyways, we're coming into our last two videos. So guys, scan the QR code up in the corner. And thank you so very much for all your love and support to our newest sponsor, My Patriot Supply. I had to think about their name for a second. I'm like, what the fuck is their name? My Patriot Supply. Thank you again for sponsoring this live stream. Really do appreciate your support. Let's get to this next video. Remember those? This was during old man Bush's funeral. And all of them received these white envelopes. This is sick that they paired it up to the V for Vendetta. That movie's awesome. If you've never seen it, watch it. It's an incredible movie. That's Alex. That's Alex Soros. That's George Soros' son. He's a scumbag. He's a global elite. That is Larry Fink. He is the owner, or he's the CEO of BlackRock. So these are the people that believe that you should own nothing and be happy about it. You know, the WEF, the World Health Organization, all those people, the people that think that they can tell you how to live your life through policy is how they're going to dictate change. And that's what they've done a pretty good job. I mean, look at what people do on YouTube in order to get paid. You know, they have to follow community guidelines. They use policy to shape behavior. Think about it. Social engineering at its finest. But now the tides are turning. That's George Soros right there. Scumbags. That's, and friggin' the head of the WEF, the World Economic Forum, Klaus Schwab, that's his name, the guy who looks like a fucking turtle. But he is German. And he stepped down after 50 years. Shit. He made the WEF back when he was just a motivated man. And then he got, you know, too big for his britches. And then actually what happened was he gave up his power to a board instead of maintaining sole power. And he did a lot of shady shit underneath. And that's why he stepped down, because Trump is, you know, he's going for the throat. That's my opinion. Leave yours in the comments. Thank you. Get him. Get him. This is how it should happen. This is what should happen if found guilty. telling you. I'm telling you right now. Something's going to happen. Something good's going to happen. I can feel it. Either that or we're all just going to go into a nuclear apocalypse and then the world's going to reset, you know? I mean, 75,000 years from now, in all honesty, nothing is going to be remembered. I mean, think about it like this. The pyramids will be buried under sand 75,000 years from now, if not completely broken down. Should enjoy the time while you got it now. Anyways, before I get out of here and play this last video for you guys, I'd like to say thank you so very much for liking, watching, loving everything we do here at the OTPH Show. You know, raw, steel, and sex appeal. Gravy train on biscuit wheels, so get on board because we're a movement that's going to the top with your love and support. And thank you so very much for all of your love and support. Scan the QR code up in the corner. That's the best way to support the show. That's My Patriot Supply, and thank you for sponsoring tonight's live stream. And the best way to support the show for free is to like, share, subscribe, and let everybody know about the greatest fucking show on the internet, the OTPH Show. And like I always say, love your neighbor, love your family. Most importantly, love you. You can't love the other two without you. I love you. God bless you. And I will see you on the next one. Bye, guys.
Also known as GITMO, will be televised via the internet for us to see the future military trials.
This morning I watched President Obama talking about GITMO, right? Guantanamo Bay, which by the way, we are keeping open. And we're going to load it up with some bad dudes, believe me. We're going to load it up.
John McCain was put to death.
What storm, Mr. President?
You'll find out.
So I started digging. One
of the
that's
right.
20
What
treasonous
storm, Mr.
traitors
President?
to America foolishly put through an amendment to make this happen in 2019 while Trump was in office. And Trump signed it into law under the 2020 National Defense Authorization Act.
No shit.
First, I'm showing a screenshot of this research because it clearly shows on Google from Adam Schiff's government website. But ironically, when you click it, it doesn't go to the actual website Google shows. So it seems it's been completely wiped, which it shouldn't be. What are they trying to hide? So digging deeper, the Washington Times has the only article I could find about this from July 13th of 2019, which states the House of Representatives moved Friday to make military commissions held at Guantanamo Bay more transparent by paving the way for proceedings to be broadcast online. An amendment potentially broadening the public's access to the proceedings was included in the 2020 National Defense Authorization Act, considered on Capitol Hill, offered by California Democrat Representative Adam Schiff. The measure authorizes military judges at Guantanamo Bay to order arrangements for remote public viewing of the proceedings via internet. The amendment was passed by a voice vote and included in the version of the NDAA subsequently approved by the House. Suspected terrorists have been held and tried at the U.S. military base in Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, since shortly following the terrorist attack of September 11, 2001. Though several barriers have prevented the public from staying on top of the proceedings held there, relatives of the 9/11 victims, members of the media, and others wishing to watch the military commissions at GITMO must travel to the island or one of the handful of domestic military bases, where the proceedings are viewable on closed-circuit television. Mr. Schiff, the chairman of the House Intelligence Committee at the time, introduced the amendment after a report he requested from the Government Accountability Office recommended that the military consider making the commissions available online. The military commissions at Guantanamo have been out of sight and therefore out of mind for far too long. As Guantanamo nears its third decade, and with trials still years away, it is all the more important that victims' families, the media, and the public are able to follow the trials before military commissions. The article states in the beginning of this amendment was included in the 2020 National Defense Authorization Act. So digging into that, you find that over 1,000 pages after it was signed into law, and the Wikipedia page states that NAA passed the House by a vote of 377 to 48, and the Senate by a vote of 86 to 8. And became effective on December 20th, 2019, when it was signed into law by President Donald Trump. Ironically, on the wiki page, and search for the word GITMO and Guantanamo, nothing comes up in the search. If they can't publish it, then they can act like it doesn't exist, just like the fake news doesn't talk about all of the treason happening in our country, acting as if it doesn't exist. But when you go to the PDF and search Guantanamo, you find all of the goods that were hidden before. When you search Guantanamo, there are 36 results. Reading the most important results, breaking it down so we can fully comprehend them. Section 1044 states, extension of the prohibition on use of funds to construct or modify facilities in the United States to house detainees transferred from United States Naval Station, Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. So this means they are building more on GITMO, which you'll see later because they used millions for this purpose. And we know Catherine Herridge boldly reported this on the news.
What you see here on the ground, Deborah, is there's no indication that the military process, the legal process, is going to shut down anytime soon. About 100 yards across the buildings that are in front of me, down into Camp Justice, there is a major construction project going on. They are, in fact, building another courthouse, and they are expanding the workspace for the handling of classified materials by the prosecution. This is a big project. It's over $15 million. So all of that goes to these interesting optics that here on the island, they're expanding the military legal process with physically a new courthouse, while at the same time in Washington, the administration is talking about shutting down the detention camp.
Well, guys, I mean, leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Would you watch the military tribunals, the people that have committed horrible acts against the American people on the internet? I fucking sure would. I hope you would too. Hey, remember what Trump used to do this? Oh, by the way, I got to get out of here. I love you guys so very much. Thank you again for liking, watching, loving everything we do here at the OTPH Show. And like I always say, love your neighbor, love your family. Most importantly, love you. You can't love the other two without you. I love you. God bless you. And now I got to get the fuck out of here. All right, guys, I love you. I got to go.
To Iran.
Don't.
As President Biden said, just don't.
Exactly.
I'm gonna bomb the shit out of them.